Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is How to App on iOS, and it's Friday here in Australia. My name is Jade. Welcome to everybody here around the world. We're in the future, so it's probably Thursday for the rest of you. Today we have a very, very, very awesome special guest, and we're going to kick things off with some of his music. We'll be talking to iOTA.
Cannonballs, everything falls from the sky. Miracles, angels and children will cry for life, life, life. Everyone's hands in the air, birds and the bees and the birds in the trees for life, life, life. You go high. You go high. Millions of people are born every year. The sun in your eyes, is that all that you feel? The places you travel are farther than here. Let's keep it a secret for life. So cover me in ashes and wipe all my tears. We're living for love, or we're living for fear. In life, life, life. You go high. You go high. You go Millions of people are born every year. The sun in your eyes, is that all that you feel? The places you travel are farther than here. Let's keep it a secret for life. You go Cannonballs, everything falls from the sky. Miracles, angels and children will cry for life, life, life.
Oh yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. I forgot to turn off my phone. Thank you, notification, for letting me know I've gone live. Let's bring in my camera. Yay! Hi, how you all going? Welcome to the show. As I've said, today we have an awesome guest, somebody who I'm so stoked to have on the show. He is an acclaimed singer, songwriter, guitarist. He's a multi-Helpman award-winning actor, artist, and all-round beautiful human being. I am so stoked today to have on the show my very, very special guest, iOTA. Welcome to the show, iOTA.
Hi.
Howdy do. How are you?
Pretty good, thanks.
Pretty good for 8 a.m.?
Oh, yeah. It's all right. I get up early anyway, so it's not that much of a struggle.
Yeah.
It's hard these cold, wintry mornings, though, isn't it?
It's putrid. I'm going to go out walk.
Okay.
I was going to say insipid, but well, I normally go for a walk after these interviews as well. So I'm going to be out in 4 degrees. Yay.
Yeah.
for 8 kilometers.
Oh, amazing. It was so cold yesterday too.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, once you're up, it's fine. I quite like it. It's good to have a nice warm jacket and go and get a coffee and feel your eyes sort of freezing over. But yeah, it's good. Thanks for that intro. That was very nice. I wasn't sure you had the right day.
Come on. So how have you been going with lockdown? Let's ask that question first.
Well, it's been obviously it's so weird, the whole thing. It's been very strange. I was living, I've moved. How do I explain? We decided, my partner and I decided that because we didn't know where the next lot of money was going to come from, we both lost our jobs. Yeah. I lost a year's worth of income. So we decided to move out of our house, and it was just I think it was the worst thing that we could have done, because it then made it very difficult for us to get a new place. Like, we just wanted to rent somewhere cheaper, and we couldn't actually get anywhere without jobs. Obviously, you couldn't get education. So we were like a week out of having to actually be out of the house, and then we were just like, we've still got nowhere to live. And the lady across the road from us, she had an Airbnb space, and she heard about what was going on with us, and so she invited us to come and stay with her.
Aww.
Yeah, we did a little deal, and she wasn't getting any business either, so we moved from 18 Nimbin Road to 19 Nimbin Road, and we moved under her house into a granny flat, and it was a nice place to land, but it was not perfect, but hey, it was better than the bus stop.
Yeah.
At Woy Woy.
Don't remind me about Woy Woy. Holy shit! I lived there for 2 years.
That's right. Yeah.
I lived right on the beach.
It's wow.
Yeah.
At Woy Woy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So across pretty much across from where the major supermarket is. There's a Coles. Yeah. Yeah. There's a McDonald's there. Yeah. So I lived pretty much across from the McDonald's in Woy Woy.
Wow.
For about 2 years.
Yeah.
I was the only tranny in the village, though. So.
Yeah.
It's pretty uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first got off the train there, I just sort of I looked around and just sort of went, oh my God, what are we doing? But you get used to it. I certainly got used to it. Look, it was fine. But I'm not a trainee, and I don't have those special issues to deal with in Boy. But yeah, you would have been a head turner, that's for sure.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems there really. So, and it was the beach was nice. It's just I didn't really particularly want to live there, but.
Oh, that's all right. I thought you were sort of saying that you were copping shit, or.
No, look, I did a little, but nothing that's not, nothing that I haven't heard before. I've copped worse actually in Newtown. Funny about that, really, where it's a bit of an LGBT mecca, and I've kind of experienced worse there.
Yeah.
So, but, that's life, as your song so beautifully said in the opening track. So let's get into music. Let's talk about some music. I ask everybody the same question when we come on, because I have an end question and a beginning and an ending that I ask, and everything else is just throw shit to the wall. So, what does music mean to you, iOTA?
Gee.
I love throwing this one out.
I should have had a little bit more thought before I think it's just, the first it's the first time that I experienced kind of magic, I suppose, and some sort of transformative, something that just took my imagination to a whole new place, like a new, out of the bedroom, and and into a realm of possibilities. And that was Susie Quattro when I was 5. But it just started. My mum and dad bought me this album because I was crazy about my aunties. She had the album, and it just got me. And it was this girl, but she was really tough, and nobody sang like that back in those days. No one female sang like Susie Quattro. So it was really odd, and I couldn't stop looking at it. And it had this great photo of her in the band on the back, and it was literally just. And I would put music on. My mum and dad bought me this little plastic record player, and with a little microphone, and I would just sit in my room and listen to it, and it just transported me to somewhere else, or to what I could be. And so for me, I think it's just that it was it was just magic in amongst the very normal world of being a 5-year-old to just suddenly seeing the possibilities of what I could possibly be. And then, I mean, Kiss came along when I was 10 or something, and that did the same thing, but just in a bigger, just incredible, vast way. And it just turned me inside out with possibilities of what we could all do, or what we could be, or, and...
Were you still living in because you were born in Western Australia, yeah?
Yeah, in Callista in Rockingham.
So were you still there when Kiss came out and toured? Did you get to see them when you were young?
Yeah, we were in Pinjarra by that point. My dad worked at Alcoa, the aluminium refinery in Rockingham, or Kwinana. And then he moved to Pinjarra refinery, so we moved there. And I was 11. I think it was 1980.
Yeah, it was. Oh, 79.
And,
that was 80. You're right, I think.
Yeah, Perth Entertainment Centre. Peter Criss had left, so Eric Carr had taken over. That was my first rock concert. I mean, it just blew my socks off. I was 11 years old. I barely even lived, and then I'm watching Kiss, and when they first came on, I just thought I was going to faint. I was so excited. I couldn't believe that I was there in the same room as them. It was just so great. So, I mean, I think that's what music is. It's magic. It's magic that's unfortunately, I think, just been taken, like all good things, and we're just beaten over the head by too much of it, probably, and too much of it that isn't great. And, too much of a good thing, doesn't matter what it is. I think it starts to suck after a while, and but there's still great music out there,
So you've led me now to ask you this question. So, how do you think the music industry is in 2020? Let's try and think before, obviously, what's happening now, because clearly it's really fucked at the moment. But you think we have too much of a good thing, or since digital streaming's come in, what are your thoughts on all that kind of stuff around music?
I think we're just sort of fed a lot of you know, it's like a steak, or you know, it's good. A little bit of red meat is great, you know, for anyone's diet. I think. But if you eat steak 3 times a day, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
So, and I think that, and then when someone like McDonald's calls their beef burgers beef, you know, it's like, again, someone's gone, no, this is steak, but it's not really steak. So, but we've packaged it to look like that. It's actually really cheap to package, and we're going to sell it to you for as much as we possibly can. That is kind of what's happening with music industry as well. This is music, okay? And we're going to keep feeding you lots and lots of it until you're just going to be convinced that that's all that there is. That's, you know, like a hamburger, the McDonald's burger is the burger to have, because we keep just giving it to you.
Yeah.
And going, hey, this is lovely. Smell it, delicious. And, you know.
And it doesn't...
We're so malleable, and then we can just be pushed and molded into, no, this is good, Justin Bieber. This is really good. You know, Kim Kardashian, good for you.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. There's still really great steak out there, but we're just getting, you know, fed all the crap, and they treat us like we can't handle interesting music. They treat us like we can't handle 7-minute songs, or you know, or the mainstream. You know, it's just fed to. I hate it, but.
Well, there's definitely a there's definitely a rise, I think, in home recording artists. So people who are making more music from home, which is, you know, I think it's a massive fuck you to the music industry. I'm a part of it. I love it. I know you're currently working on stuff at the moment.
Yeah. Well, that is the good thing about it, is that it. There's always going to be music. There's always going to be, you know, I mean, I suppose for the longest time, especially since the whole Napster thing happened, and then now music is just, everyone feels like it's their right to just have music. And that's been difficult. There's a part of me that goes, but it makes sense that we just give music to people. Mm-hmm. In a perfect world, not in the world where we're trying to survive, but there is a sense to just going, here, I made this for you. If you go back to, like, we're all just cavemen, or women, we would just be like, you know, I'm going to write this song to you and give it to you, you know, and there's something beautiful. And there's something beautiful about that, and I think we are returning to that in a lot of ways, because I mean, I don't sell CDs or records anymore, and I used to, you know, back in 1998. But yeah, like, you know, because everyone feels like they should just have music, and you have to kind of adapt, because it's not going to change.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to adapt, and that's the beauty of why technology has, you know, we've all got recording studios in our bedrooms now.
In our
you
pockets.
don't have to go to the studio.
Yeah,
you can just do it.
And this show is about, you know, iOS apps. This show's about having a music studio in your pocket, because a lot of people are doing it, and it's at that point. I mean, GarageBand's free on iOS, and you know, some of the groups I hang out in, like GarageBand users group, everyone's making music on their phones, and it's of a, you know, an equal quality.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that stuff that I heard of yours. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you want, yeah.
Well, it sounds fucking great.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So I sent iOTA a copy of my album for those of you are watching, which is not finished, but yeah, it's been made on iPad completely, and
Yeah.
so it's
great.
It's completely
It's
possible.
really great. It's great, and I really like the songs and there's the songwriting skill going on there, and the one I love that.
I knew you'd love that. It's like heavy ZZ Top.
I could listen to that riff and that thing when that thing comes in all day. I just want those 8 bars and just
ironically enough, that song on my album is actually about, I know this isn't about me, this show, but it's about the LGBT community. So it's my token gay song, and it's heavy as fuck.
It's so metal. I love
it. Yeah, and it's about, the Mardi Gras. It's about pride and how every year we come together and then we're put into like a zoo, and everyone stands on the outside from cages pointing in going, look at the gays! Let's all wave a flag! Yay! I guess now we've moved to that, so I know, and I will bring up on my screen at the moment, I know you can't see this, but so I interviewed you back when you were doing the Rocky Horror Show, and I'm just putting up a photo of me and you, that photo of me and you in your dressing room with your towel on your head.
I love that. When you said that to me, I was like, what?
I love that photo. I've had that photo forever. So how long ago was that? When was Rocky Horror Show?
It's so annoying.
Is it a buzzing? I thought it was a vibrator.
Oh. Hang on.
Whoa. Close your eyes, folks.
Ooh, it's a big one. They're doing some work outside on the back wall.
I thought that.
That was 2008.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and you kindly allowed me to come into your dressing room before the show and hang out. And God, we talked. I just dug that interview up last week.
I don't remember any of that. No.
I remember that. Because I interviewed you, and then I left and I went and interviewed Paul Capsis in his dressing room. It was a totally different experience. Like, you were, we talked about Kiss pretty much the whole time. And in Paul's interview, it took him all that time to put on all his rings on his fingers. I mean, we just because we talked about LGBT stuff. I mean, back then, I know I was writing for samesame.com.au, and they're gone now. And a lot of my questions were geared at being a gay performer in the music industry. And I was thinking before we came on today's show how little that means anything anymore. Where back in 2008 there was a thing of we've got another one who's making music, or is that something? Right. Is that something that still comes up for you as an artist?
I don't think so. I never really. I didn't really think about it. I never really put the two together, or it was never a problem. It was a problem. It was a problem. I never experienced any, open sort of prejudice. The only thing that I remember is being very careful about mentioning my partner when I was in interviews.
Yeah, right.
Like that's like 99, 2000, 2001. And I don't even know whether I had to be, but I felt like somebody actually, who you may know, but I won't mention her name, but we'll talk about it after. Yeah.
Catch the scoop.
But she actually said to me, don't tell anyone that you're gay.
Right.
Because it'll they'll try to stop you or whatever. I don't think it's ever really. It doesn't really cross my mind that much. Or I'm, gay. I mean, in the theatre. I mean, Jesus.
You're the odd one out if you aren't.
Yeah. And if you're straight in theatre, you tend to be pretty gay.
Just rubs off onto you, just slides on.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
That becomes the language. So you released your first album. That was that you were nominated for an ARIA for that? Your first?
Yeah.
So what I want to ask about that. So since recording that album and being, because I think in Australia, a lot of artists are shot into the spotlight. So with that album, you're shot into that position. Since that recording, how have you approached creating music? How some artists try to recreate that first album if they have success. How have you approached all these albums since? Because you have an absolute ton of albums.
I've just always gone, I don't want to do that again. Like, not that was a bad thing, but I can't do the same album. So I wanted to do something, really different.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's all just learning. I had no idea what I was doing back then. I had very little to do with the production of my first album.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a great experience, and it has come back to bite me a couple of times through. I got out of the contract of that first album first. I mean, that just was a whole mess that I don't think I'll talk about. But the next album, I just wanted to be so arty. I mean, I think it's a cliche that artists do on their second album. It was like, well, now that I got that album and everyone wants to see me and talk about me, now I can do my arty album. And, I very naively believed that everyone was just going to love everything that I do now. And boy, was I wrong. Like,
really?
The second album, everyone just hated it. Triple J wouldn't play it. There was like, there's nothing on here we can play except Million Miles they played.
See, I would take that as a victory if Triple J didn't want to play it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yes! Well, but I know.
At the time, it was very important, and because no one else did,
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about one album and just there's this can of worms we can go into, but to try to answer your question, every single time is something new, and after that second album that nobody really liked, and I don't know how many times I heard, well, it's not Hip Bone Connection, and I'm like, well, yeah.
What do you
and I was getting a lot of Jeff Buckley comparisons and Chris Cornell, and I just didn't want to be compared to people, but
yeah,
it has to be. You can't help that, and so I was trying to do voices that weren't mine, and trying to sing like this, and just do anything that wasn't, comparable to anything. And then the third album, I wanted to try to get my audience back, and so I tried to do the more commercial, user-friendly, radio-friendly songs type album, which was La Caravana, which is still a great album. I mean, but at the time, I just felt like such a sellout. And then the fourth album was just like, well, this is contractually, I've got to do a fourth album. The band had split up. I was seeing my drummer. I was in a relationship with him for 2.5 years. That broke up. On the eve of our tour, we broke up like a couple of weeks before. He was seeing a girl now, and it was just like very difficult. Very like it's hard to break up, but then to have to break up and still be in a musical relationship with somebody, and seeing them getting on with their new partner, and
Yeah.
it was just a head fuck. So it just the band split up, but we did our launch show at the Metro. We might have done 2 nights there, and then that was it. And then the band split up, and then I went and did the tour solo, and would just walk on every night and go, "Hi." The band broke up.
Sorry.
But I thought I'd come out anyway and entertain you. So yeah, and then the Beauty Queen of the Sea was just another. Well, let's go down this way. You know, it was another experiment, and we jammed a lot and just recorded stuff, and then found bits that we liked, and focused on that, and wrote a song around those sorts of ideas, and that was working with Tim Holes, who plays drums with the Church, does lots of producing, and but that was really the death rattle of my music career, I suppose. At that time, it was kind of over. It was the last album with the record company. Although I had a really good relationship with them, they let me do whatever I wanted to, and which was basically just gave me rope to hang myself. As far as like a musical career that was continuing to grow, it just didn't. It just died in the arse until, like, once that album came out, I was living in a tiny apartment with getting a small allowance from my publisher, and like I was stealing food from the local IGA. I was nowhere, and that was 2004 or 5, and I was considering just going back to WA to cry. Just go home. There's like, what else am I going to do? I can't fucking stay here. I'm going to be living on the streets soon. If something doesn't give. And then I got approached from a producer in theatre who was putting on a show called Hedwig the Angry Inch. And
that's where I first found you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I found myself as well. I had nothing to lose, everything to gain. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but fucking, it's better than going back to WA, a failure. So, let's do it. And I knew the film, and I had the soundtrack, so I was quite familiar with what it was. And we just started talking, and I mean, it just happened. Long story short.
It was a perfect choice too. Like, I was a massive fan of the movie. I found that movie when I was coming out. That movie was my rock. To me, it was like the new Rocky Horror Show. It was the replacement for something that we've had for so long. It was It was gritty, and there's so much depth to that movie. And I saw you in Sydney perform that, and I saw you
twice.
Yeah, and I saw it twice, and I did a review on it, and I fucking loved your performance. It's what got me into your music. It's what got me to buy the Beauty Queen and Sea album, and it fucking blew me away. I cried all the way through both times I saw it, because you absolutely killed it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it saved my skin. you know, and it changed my life, and but it also really showed me and brought me into a place where it felt so right, like not, you know, not necessarily that show, but just performance-wise. And I saw, because I always had these ideas of lights and costumes and things that we could do, but it just seemed so unattainable. I had no idea how the fuck am I going to be able to do that? Like, we need a crew and we need, just impossible. And then all of a sudden, there was this thing called theatre, and there was directors and people going, oh yeah, we'll put a big sign and it'll come up and it'll be flashing. Really? Like, and what, will there be smoke and dry ice? And they're like, yeah, we do everything. And I'm like, wow, this is what I've always wanted, you know, real sort of production and magic, you know, being able to get involved with something that's really magical and transformative and transporting people, you know, to another place. It was so great, and it was also really hard.
Yeah, grueling.
It was like a game of. I never played a game of footy, but that's what I imagine.
Kick it over here. Kick it over here.
Yeah.
Get it in, mate.
No. Ow. Yeah. I remember at school. I remember at school having to play football, and you know, the teacher just saying to me, he kicked me the ball, and I just went, and not like, oh, it's going to hurt me, but I just like, I just don't want to catch it. It's stupid, you know, and I let it drop. Let it drop on the floor, and his face, and he was just like, you know,
fucking footy.
You're going to have to catch it eventually, like one day. Like, you're going to have to catch the ball. It's just like, nah. But it was like a game of footy every fucking day, and twice on Fridays and Saturdays, which just killed me.
Yeah.
Emotionally, really, really hard. Like, and I mean, on top of that, I was partying like I was.
Of course.
You know, drinking 4 to 6 beers or before I'd go on, and then at the end of every show, go home alone to my hotel with beers, weed, smoke a pack of cigarettes, pass out when the sun came up, sleep until 4, go and get something to eat, have a big shit, and then go to the theatre and do it again. Like, it was really grueling, and you know, there's a better way to do it.
So if people don't know about Hedwig, I think I've put a link. I will, if I haven't, even though it's not, there isn't not a recording of you playing the part, but I will put a link to the movie so people can check it out, because it is an incredible movie. And yeah, I can only imagine how hard and I guess it's a far cry from being in WA as a kid, putting on performances as Kiss for your friends. But yeah, the performances are it's focused on you. You know, Hedwig is the character, the whole thing, and it's you're telling this tale of tragedy and love, and there's so many emotions through it.
Yeah.
So
it's you know, if you've seen the film, it's like, it's difficult to know how they're going to do this on stage, but it's a far better stage show, I think.
For sure.
The film is great,
yeah,
but the stage show is just another level. And obviously the film came after the stage show. But the show is just I'd love to see it, you know, because it's such a clever. It was so new and a new way to. Because I hate musicals, you know, but so I don't like that. You know, oh, this happened and oh, it's so bad, oh, and there was a new way of singing songs in a show, you know.
Yeah.
That she basically in a rock band telling her story, and yeah.
It's,
I mean, yeah, tears were real. I'd come out of a relationship. My musical career was nowhere. You know, it was very raw.
It's made for you.
All of that stuff. So it made complete sense to me, and the tears were real. The anger, and like I was the perfect person to have do it. You know,
absolutely made for you.
Yeah. At that point,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it now. You know, it's too hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Yeah.
Well, what I'll do is we'll give you a break for a minute. I'm going to play a song from I'm going to play "Come Back for Me," but I'm going to play a live version of you performing it. So if you want to mute your mic, you'll be able to hear where it ends. So we'll take a break, and folks, this is. Do you remember where this gig was from?
It depends on which.
It's the one.
Which one?
It's just you by yourself.
Does it look like it's been filmed really nice?
Yeah. It's the one that's filmed really nice.
I would say probably the Spiegel tent. If it's what I did.
Yeah, so it's just you. Yeah. All right, so this is "Come Back for Me." So kick back, folks, and have a listen. We're going to have a sip of our morning coffee or tea, and we'll get back to you shortly.
Out on the bridge tonight, we threw rocks all shattering the harbor lights. With that look on your face, there's the other one behind it that I really like. And then we said our goodbyes, and I'll start counting the days, wipe that frown from my face, in anticipation. Come back for me. I will be waiting where you tell me. Come back for me. I will be waiting where you leave me. I'm not afraid to die, but it's your death, honey, that I think about. And in the sky sometime, I'll get a plain sky writing for your birthday. And I've got a message in mind, but it's the same as before. I'm just waiting for your next confirmation. Come back for me. I will be waiting where you tell me. Come back for me. I will be waiting where you leave me. It's a hell of a scene where you tell me, come back. Come back for me. I will be waiting. Are you coming back for me? Gags Tassler on the guitar, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Fisty Marin on the drums. Benjamin Jamos, Jamison Cripps on the bass. Our own personal bunny rabbit, Sprinkle McSprinkledinks on the keyboards. And the Gimp on the Gimp. Thank you very much. Good night.
And that was Come Back For Me by iOTA. Live performance. And we're back here with iOTA. So thank you all for being with us today. Thank you very much, iOTA, for being here also. Oh.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I haven't had yet, but, you know, it's early. So I haven't done a pun or anything yet today. So we're talking about your acting. So the next time I saw you, I know you're in Berlin as well. I unfortunately didn't get to see you in that.
Oh, that was so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next time I saw you was in the Rocky Horror Show when I interviewed you. And again, like, it's like, I mean, we came from Craig McLachlan as Frankenfurter. Was he, or was it Jason Donovan to you? Like both,
I'm not sure.
both of them played the character of Frankenfurter, and so to me that was a low point in Rocky Horror Show Productions.
Yeah, that's when I mean it's got it's mainstream, and
It was Hey Hey It's Saturday.
putting in Hey Hey It's Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Saturday's a great show, but we don't have to. I don't know. Just Rocky Horror I always wanted it to stay edgy and you know, good.
And that it was. So I'm putting up on the screen. So, you know, and the cast was amazing. Like, you know, just you and Paul Kapsis were just absolutely made for both the roles of Frankenfurter and Riff Raff. There's absolutely no doubt about that. How was that experience compared to doing Hedwig and I guess, you know, having Berlin under your, having all that under your belt? How was the difference with doing the shows?
Well, Rocky was a big production. There was money, you know, and got paid really well. Got looked after very well, and you know, it was very different. And Hedwig was very, you know, shoestring kind of. You know, for a little while, I was using one set of wigs. Like the wig was 2 wigs, but I was wearing that, doing the show, having a break, and then putting that wig back on.
Yep.
And there's not a dryer. You're putting wet clothes back on because there's only one, you know. And so Rocky Horror was completely not that at all. It was wonderful. There was, you know, lots of versions of the outfits, and you know, it was bigger. It was commercial. It was you had to do more things publicity-wise. You couldn't say no to a lot of stuff.
Carrie Ann Kennelly?
Carrie Ann, which... yeah,
that was pretty fun, you know?
It was pretty fun. You know, what I didn't enjoy was when... and it's not just Carrie Ann, it's anyone. They would have celebrities come on, and you would have to change your show to slot them in.
Yep.
You know, we did that in Melbourne with Hamish and Andy were on, and
God.
A bunch of other television crew came on, and you know, and the whole show is different, and it's like it's hard to just change the words. You know, for me anyway,
yeah.
Change what you practicing. It's hard to turn around and see Hamish standing there instead of Paul Kapsis. Like, you know, it just fucks with you. But I don't know, what was the question? What was talking about?
Just how different it was to
yeah.
Hedwig.
It was completely different, and it was great to actually work with other people on stage. And I mean, the best part about it was that all the cast got on really well. Cliche, but it's true. And we had a really nice time. It was really enjoyable. Probably partied too much, but
so that didn't change.
You know, no, that hadn't changed yet. But yeah, I mean, it was, you know, it felt pretty famous, or at least, you know, pretty sort of well known. But again, as Kiss taught me, it's so great to have a big, you know, big persona, big costume, face full of makeup, and then you take it all off, you walk out the backstage area, through the crowd of people waiting for this massive, fabulous guy. And he never showed up. And it was just great for that. I love that. And for me, it's cheeky and it's naughty, you know. I got away with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Yeah, the whole killing Eddie scene was just fantastic. It was so vicious, and I loved it.
Yeah. Did you see Eddie when he was inside the trolley when I killed him?
Yeah. Yeah, you had a massive axe, didn't you?
I had a massive axe, and there was a little fake bottom that he could slide underneath, and then because I didn't want to have to pretend to be axing, I wanted to really, really hit something, and we ended up changing that because he was too terrified that I was going to actually chop him with it. Because, I just went nuts. It was great.
Yeah, you were violent as fuck.
I always remember his face, just like absolutely horrified every night that I swung that axe down on him. I loved it. Hi, Michael.
So, as you're saying, your music career you felt was like falling apart. All of a sudden, now you're like thrust into this theatrical world, and then you're up on stage receiving all these Helpman awards for. So was it for Hedwig and for Smoke and Mirrors? What you won?
Hedwig 2007 for the best male in a musical. I mean, that was just it was just that time was just mind blowing. It was like, oh wow, this is like some hard work that paid off, and it was just unbelievable. And then Rocky Horror, and then after Rocky Horror we wrote Smoke and Mirrors, and Smoke and Mirrors got like 3 or 4. I think it got 3 Helpmans, and then I got the best cabaret artist as well.
Yep.
Which.
Thank you.
Okay. Which there's so many other real cabaret artists, but I just happened to be doing Smoke and Mirrors at the Cabaret Festival, and that's how I kind of wrangled that. Yeah. But look, it's great. It looks good on your CV, and people want to work with you and more, and it went well. I think it went well.
And how did this have an effect on your music career?
It didn't really. It's not like all of a sudden people were buying my albums.
Wow.
And
that's interesting.
Yeah. I thought it would. It's the same with like with Fury Road. I thought for sure that was going to reinvigorate people's interest in my music, but it didn't. It seems like they're just different. People just compartmentalize these different aspects, or they don't know. I'm not very good at advertising myself. I don't have a website or any of that. Or I probably should.
Yeah, we said that when we touched base again, like when we had a chat on Messenger, like how you're not really never really been a social media kind of person.
No. It's just so intrusive, and it's just, who cares? That's but I mean, I'm on there now, and it seems to, I don't give a fuck really what everyone's doing. I mean, it's people that I love. I don't know. I'm too busy doing stuff to be bothered with it. But I mean, I'm not on there. It's been great. The best thing that's happened is that people have seen some of my painting, and people have been buying my paintings from Instagram. So that's, what, when I say I don't give a fuck, I do.
No, I fully understand, and I'm sure people will understand where you're coming from, because I mean,
I like you. I just want to, I'd rather see you rather than do a 10 days, 10 albums challenge. I want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, look, I'm a firm believer. When I reinvented myself, when I went through transition, I stopped playing music for 3 years because I thought, who's going to buy music from a trans person? So I disappeared completely. And then, so it was about 2006 that I decided to play music again, and I found MySpace. And man, I would give everything to go back to the simplicity and the chaos of MySpace, because that, even though it was social networking in its infancy, it was based around music. And that's what brought people together. And you could make your page your own, even if it looked like it was full of animated GIFs flashing and then somebody had vomited on the screen. It didn't matter because it was yours and it was individual. And Facebook totally took that and just turned everything into a homogenized, plain, boring piece of shit.
Yeah. I'm absolutely hopeless on Facebook. I don't engage much with people, or I fucking hate Facebook, and I hate that guy Zuckerberg. It's just a.
He's not human. He's not human. Like.
But yeah, he is quite robotic, isn't he? Which makes him a little bit hot, I suppose. But no, I think Instagram is probably the better one for me.
I always wonder if Zuckerberg blinks when he has sex.
Does he have sex?
See, that was just going through my head right then too. So I want to touch on this, and because, all right, now, I want to talk about Mad Max as well, but see, I think this is fucking cool. And you were on Play School.
Yeah.
To me,
I was on Play
that's
School.
fucking everything. Yeah. Like, for Australians and for the people watching who are around the world, Play School is this children's television show. And I think it's like an achievement to get on Play School, because there's been many amazing actors and performers who've made appearances on there. And to me, I think that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, me too.
And you did a Leopard song on there.
Yes, Leopard has lots of spots. But a lot of spots.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, and there was another one, I can't remember what that one was, but look, it was just, it's something that, it's like a bucket list thing. It's an institution. It's been in all of our lives for so long, and to actually be on there doing something, and it felt really natural, and like I could do, what a great gig.
Yeah,
I'd be very happy going there every day and doing that. The people were nice. I loved the sets and the set makers, and just living in that world. Yes, please. With plastic trees and flowers made out of paper plates, and it just seems like a really great place. But the people were all really lovely, and it was very calm and that tranquil kind of setting. I got the poster of the Leopard. I'm going to put it on my wall one day, get it framed. But yeah, it was amazing time. Great.
So I've got it on my screen right now.
Day. Let's put a few more spots on our Leopard.
It's so beautiful.
Here, you think? Yes. How about there? You like that one?
Right, right on the ass. You like that one?
He's so spotty. A leopard has lots of spots.
Beautiful.
Do you sometimes like to dress up and pretend to be an animal?
Fuck yeah.
I'm going to pretend to be a leopard. A leopard
I love it.
with lots of spots. How do I look? Spot, 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 spot.
Beautiful.
Spot, spot, spot. A leopard has lots of spots.
So we'll segue away from Play School. How did and you're talking about, I just want to touch on too, you're talking about Rocky Horror Show, how you put on all that costume, and then at the end of the show, you leave and you're just this mild-mannered person who slips through. In Mad Max, I want to ask how that all came about, but I mean, the first time I saw Mad Max, I had no idea that was you, because you are the Doof warrior, the creature on the truck with the guitar with the flames coming out. How did all this come about? Because it's, again, such another big thing, I guess, in your career to come along.
Yeah. It was just a screen test. Like it had from the what do you call it? The casting agent called my agent and just said, we need a guitarist.
Wow. Wow.
And they had tried some people before, some other people, and the brief was, we need the guitarist is something between a scarecrow and Keith Richards. So, can I had to come in and bring his guitar and maybe just play something for us so we can have a look. So, my Mad Max was Mad Max 2. Like, that's the first one that I saw, and when I was 11 or 12 at the drive-in.
The drive-in.
So I dressed up like, I dressed up like I was in Mad Max 2. I had like feathers on my shoulders and all these belts around my waist and a leather gimp mask sort of turned backwards so it looked like a pilot's cap, and black eyes, and I put brown teeth and a cigarette, and I sort of practiced. I had a look at some Keith Richards moves, and then I just went in there. I got in a cab and went in and plugged in my guitar and just played and behaved in some kind of Mad Max-y fashion, like, not knowing at all what the Doof Warrior was going to look like or be.
Yep.
And that was it. Like, I just did it. Thanks, see ya. And then I got the call very, very soon after that George wanted to meet me. And so I went to his office, and I walked into the office, and there's this big, long, round table, and he's sitting at one end of the table. There's storyboards all around the table of the entire film. There's trucks and like models and all sorts of shit all over the place on the table, and he's sitting there, and his mate Nico, and we just sat down for a little chat, and he said, well, look, I within about 15 seconds of seeing your test, I knew that you were the one. So, like, do you want to do the part? And I was like, yeah, let's go. And that was it. I was in. And they showed me a model of the truck, and there was this little sort of contraption at the top with a rubber band and a little doll hanging at the top, and I was like, what's that? And they're going, that's you. This is the best. And I knew, like, it's the best character in this film. Like, I don't care. There's just something about that, and he plays the guitar, and, it's on a truck hurtling through the desert, and it's a flamethrower. I just knew something really special about that character. And he got such a great reaction from all around the world, for 90 seconds, I think, full screen time that I got in that film. Pretty great.
Yeah, like when I was looking for footage, because I just played some footage while you're talking about it, I was amazed at how many YouTube videos there are where people have just chopped together only the footage of you. There's so many of them, just so many compilations. It is just mind-blowing how that one character stole the show. And after our chat we had last week, I got all excited and went, fuck, I haven't seen that for ages. And I put it on, and it's such an incredible film. I don't remember the first time I saw it being so on the edge of my seat, but this time around, I felt all the way through it that, like, I had to grip onto something. There was so much tension in that film. It was much better than the first time I saw it.
Yeah. No, it's great. I think I think you need to see it twice at least. Like, it's a lot to take in. Like, it was just like being bashed over the head. When I first saw it, the full thing, it was just way too much to take in.
Yeah.
But no, incredible film. I mean, it did so well as well. I mean, it's one of the biggest films in the universe.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays.
You in the Great Gatsby as well, weren't you?
Oh yes, you know, a little.
Yeah, but still, that was a major film as well too. So
Huge film, and I travelled to Cannes Film Festival to launch that there, to the launch party. Performed in New York for the launches of that as well, and Sydney. And in Sydney, people may know that I fell off the front of the stage and broke my wrist that night.
you aren't a performer until you do that.
No, you're not a performer until you get back up and finish the fucking set. Yeah. But
take that, footy dudes.
yeah. No, it's amazing. Like, I was thinking about it last night. At the risk of sounding corny, like everything that I've ever dreamed of doing has happened.
Yep.
You know, in some ways, in some sort of slightly altered or twisted way, but all of these things like have come to fruition. You know, I've just been so lucky. I mean, wanting to be in a Mad Max film, never actually expecting that could happen. How
Yeah.
But just thinking about it, you know, from being a kid, dreaming about being Kiss, and of course I'm never going to be a Kiss, but I ended up with heels and spandex and makeup and being in front of a mirror with lights like I saw them do, and rock and roll, and you know, all these things have happened, and anything, films and play school, and you know, it's just crazy how lucky I've been, and you know, I just feel so fortunate that I can say that, you know, that I've dreamed and I've imagined, and things have actually come true. It makes me quietly confident that I can have another dream, you know. It's not too late to have more dreams and to make those things happen.
Yep. Anything is possible.
Yeah. I want to be a painter now. Like, I think, I mean, it's a good time to do it, because it's certainly not a good time to be in theatre or a musician as far as performing wise. But that's my next goal. I may have just jinxed it by telling everybody, but
So,
you know what I want to say also about that I am the Doof Warrior.
you are.
Like, I don't know if anybody saw Conan O'Brien, or anybody saw Riley Keough go on to Conan O'Brien and claim that her husband was the Doof Warrior. It's a complete lie. She's an absolute bullshit artist, and he's an absolute rat, and it's just not true. He was my stunt double, but he's in the film for like 2 seconds. I just couldn't believe that she claimed that, yes, my husband is the Doof Warrior. It's just bullshit. So I just want to put that out there.
Awesome. Does that feel good to get that off your chest?
Yeah. It is. I've been so good about not talking about it. I just think it's part of it. I think is they probably wanted me to say something about it for it to be a little bit of controversy.
Help
them. Yeah, and big up her husband, you know, and I just don't get it. I mean, he's an incredible stunt performer. Why didn't she talk about that?
Yeah.
But instead claimed that he did someone else's work.
Yeah.
And I know that he was backstage going, "Thanks, babe. Awesome."
Yeah.
You know? He's a piece of shit. But that's another story I'm going to tell you.
I love it. I often.
I've got so many stories that I can't talk about.
Well, I guess the common people. I guess where the times we're at with the world where it's at, and people are starting to break through the veneer of celebrity at the moment. We're starting to see shit like Madonna in a bathtub with her face melting, fucking, telling everybody to inject bleach virtually, and we're starting to see these artists be exposed without their legions of people that they seem to feed off, and that they don't have a grip on reality. So it's really refreshing to speak to somebody who's never been a part of that world, but been a part of that world, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you have seen that kind of shit going on.
See that behaviour, like to me, being in those two films, like, man, some of the that you see, it's just like, I can't believe this. Just celebrity behaviour, like, it's just really ugly. And I don't know, what can I tell you? Tell you a story.
Actor's gonna act.
Oh, and they're surrounded by people that I think that the people that surround them are probably worse, because you get. I remember walking. I just got down off the truck and we were having a break, and there was a tent sort of area in the middle of the desert for us to sit down in. So I walked in under the tent, and then I just sat down. I was like, wow, it's a beautiful day out today, isn't it? And I saw someone over here going like this, and I was like, what? And they were like, and she was pointing to Tom Hardy, who was also sitting over there, but was kind of like, he was so method that he was in his character, and she ended up coming up and saying, you're not allowed to sit in the same area as Tom because, he's doing his thing, so stuff like that is just like, I find it completely bizarre.
But was he actually like that, or was that just the fussing of the publicist or the person, or
That's really bit of
both, yeah.
Yeah, but there was a lot of stuff like that. There's more stuff I'll tell you when we get.
I guess it's hard for people to understand, I guess, who haven't seen it or that. But and at the same time, how easy is it for people to get wrapped up in all the hype of what's going on around them? We're only human. We have emotions and all that stuff, and we get pulled into things. I've been pulled into conspiracy theories in a couple of years ago, and made a total ass of myself. And some of the stuff I was talking about then, everyone's talking about now, and I've come through that going, what the fuck, man? You people, like, I've hit the bottom and been there, but I was in a bad place.
Which one?
Oh, fucking all of them. All of them.
Oh, yeah.
But, I think I was in a bad place, and that's why. My health was really shit, and I think in times of darkness, I think we do clutch onto these things where we feel everyone's against us.
I love them. I think they're really interesting. Some of them are very compelling, and I think it's always worth investigating them and digging deeper into them. The newest one that I guess it's probably a year now that I first heard about the flat earthers. I found that really fascinating, and just to let your mind go there and go, God, imagine if the sun is really only, this little sort of baseball.
Around.
Like, it's thinking about it, but yeah, they're fun. You got to just be careful, don't you?
Yeah, I think there's a right idea about it. We all can agree, like, the people in power are a bunch of assholes, and but the thing is, they're not lying about it. Well, they're lying, but they're doing it badly. We can all see it. I think something I said to someone last week was, constantly we have people all around the world calling our governments inept and garbage at what they do, but somehow they're able to all come together with different language barriers and create this when they can't even organise a fucking a brothel. Like, you know, that's my thing these days. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's not even a conspiracy theory, is it? That's just the truth. Like, I think we all know that, money is power, and people in government have more money than we do, and people with more money want more money, and it's not about us. They don't care about us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not about our best interest.
And the money continues to have value because we continue to allow it to have value. Really.
Yeah, keep voting for them too.
Yeah. So we've got a bit deep there.
Yeah.
Look, you shared with me very kindly some new music that you're working on. And I normally ask my guests each week who come on, what are 5 things that you use to make music? Just off the, that you, if it were taken away from you, you'd be fucked.
Well, nothing. I don't think anything. If someone took anything away from me, I'd be fucked. But apart from perhaps my voice, probably my brain. But my iPhone, for recording riffs, I mean, it's just been, that's the thing that I love it the most for. And maps, Google Maps, like finding places. How the hell, I remember before having an iPhone when you'd have to have a piece of paper and it was written down and you did a map and you'd be looking for, but now it just tells you where to go. So I really like, that's nothing to do with music, but definitely recording riffs and walking down the street going, and it's been so many times I've gone to my phone and started recording, gone into with that riff.
Do you have a particular app on your iPhone? Any particular apps that you used for that?
No. It's just the good old iPhone, that one.
Just a basic recording, yeah?
Yeah, just to get it down. It's all humming. There's a gazillion riffs of iOTA humming riffs with traffic behind in the background.
Are they all titled My File or whatever it is?
Yeah, you know what it is.
My File 61, 63.
Yeah, just go. Push it. Yeah, okay, that's great.
How are you?
And Pro Tools.
Yep.
The laptop. I use a 11 rack guitar module thingy. I'm not a tech guy at all, but and my microphone. I think it's a Rode.
Yep.
It sort of looks like that, like yours, but it's an all-rounder. So it just. But I would just record my vocals and perhaps some old percussion and perhaps acoustic guitar if I decide to use that. Was that 5? I think that's almost 5.
It doesn't have to be exact.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, are you planning on releasing an album coming soon? Is that what these tracks are about? I mean,
not really.
Are albums dead?
I think they are for me. I can't imagine. Well, maybe they're not. I don't know. I think there's a better way, perhaps nowadays, than the CD. I don't know what that better way is. I mean, people are garage. What is it? There's lots of different sites that you can actually buy CDs from, isn't
Yeah.
there, these days?
I think so.
Band, one of them.
I mean, vinyl's coming back in a really big way. Vinyl seems to be everywhere. So
I just think, it's probably my own lack of self-confidence, but I just go, who would buy it? Like, I'd get, press up 100 and I'd be, carrying 70 around for the rest of my life, in a box. Like,
I'm still like that with my last one. I think I got 100 left.
Yeah, which I don't want to do. I think there's other ways. I really love giving people music.
Yeah.
Like just giving you that and getting a reaction, and it's like, yeah, that's great. Or even, if it's something more personal, or I think you have a really instant, deeper connection with somebody when you give them a piece of your art.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really important, and I think it takes us back to that. That it's important just to be able to sit in front of someone and say, "Oh, I wrote this song for this, Dave." If that's the sort of thing you're into, and just have a personal experience together that doesn't have to be about reaching a gazillion people. Brings it down to like how COVID has brought everyone back to their family and back to, those kind of more personal, their partners, and forced into lockdown together. And it seems like we're all sort of becoming more equal and, becoming more like that we have to just relate to each other in a more personal, one-on-one sort of way.
That's scary. Can we do it?
It's good for humanity,
For sure.
and, for human beings and for communities and all that sort of stuff. It's fucking hard. I've got no money.
Yeah.
I wish I had. I hate being on the fucking dole. Fucking hate it.
Yeah.
But
I have faith that things are going to pick up. Do you think what are your thoughts on that? Is there are we going to get through this? What do you think?
I think I just think it's changed forever though. I don't think it's going to go. We're going to go back to something. I think we're going to adapt, and then we're going to move forward into something new. So yeah, maybe we're already through it. We just yeah, I don't know. Who knows? No one does.
So
You're in Sydney. You're in New South Wales.
I'm in Melbourne now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I think. Why didn't I know that?
Yeah, because I came down here, I got sick. I came down here on a holiday, and because I was from Sydney. I was born in Melbourne, but I moved to Sydney to transition in 2003, and I ended up coming down here in 2015. I got sick, so I ended up staying here for my specialist, and then I moved to America for 2 years and come back to Melbourne. I miss Sydney a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've said this on the show myself. Like the restrictions at the moment for me haven't really changed my life too much. I'm a hermit anyway, and I have built my own studio, and I've got this show where I'm so lucky I get to do the show and speak to amazing artists every Friday, and I get to try and teach people how to use apps to make music for other people to create. So I'm kind of doing better. I hate saying it, even though I have lost someone to COVID personally. But I see us getting through this. I do see us coming through the other side. Hopefully is something better. Maybe we need...
Yeah, I think it will be better. It's always better. Yeah. It just takes a while for us to adapt to it. But yeah, I know, I agree.
And you're adapting now by painting. So,
Yeah,
so how is that? How has that all come about? You said you've commissioned some paintings as well.
yeah. I started painting about 20 years ago, but I've only probably done about 4 years of actual painting time. Like, I've had times where I haven't painted for 2 years. Like the last 2 years, I haven't painted at all. But it's just grown. Every time I do something, it gets better, and so yeah, I did a bunch. And when I was in Namibia doing Fury Road, I was there for 6 months, and I had so little to do that I did a lot of painting. So I really kind of found myself there, and I had an exhibition over there because I couldn't take the paintings back. So I left the paintings there. The local art dealer had an exhibition, sold all the paintings, and I donated the money to a local school. And they bought chairs and tables, and they bought a shipping container, and they cut it into two and made 2 classrooms out of it. So that was good, and that was the thing that I kind of just started to think, oh wow, what a great way to see the world if you could organise some sort of situation where you could just go to a community and paint for some months, put together an exhibition, sell them all, hopefully, if you publicise it the right way and blah, 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 donate the money into the community and then leave, and go to another place. And yeah, one day that might happen, but I just started doing painting again, and because of Instagram, people have seen them, and I guess because of COVID, they've also wanted to support, artists, and people have asked me to do some work for them. So it's been really great. There's more waiting to happen, and that when I've done this, I've had a coffee, and I'll probably go downstairs and continue working on the latest one. But it's great. I really love it. It's I've got to have. I'm an anxious person, and I have to find peace in every day, and it's one of the things that really brings me just down and quiet and focused with purpose and payoff and completely alone is painting. It just ticks all my boxes. It's really, really lovely.
Yeah, it shows. I've being on your Facebook, I got to see you do these live streams, which were totally out of the blue, and you look so calm and wonderful, and you're kind of like dancing around the space in a world of your own. It's quite interesting to watch. I've never seen anybody do a Facebook Live and be painting and creating that way. So that's really cool.
Yeah. It's good. I wasn't expecting to do those live things either, but it just, I don't know, just sort of went, oh, let's just do it. And it's a part of the painting, that process that is quite physical, and there's a lot of action. Like right now, I'm not going to be doing any live stuff because it's all kind of like, not at all thing, but it's always fun to see paper going on and the paint and the glue. But yeah, good time.
So we're getting to the end. I'll let you go and let other people go. I want to ask everybody this at the end of the show. Just for people who are starting out, people who are, finding their feet with creating, when's a good time for people to start creating and not so much how, because there are so many options. So just, I guess with self-belief and in these times, when do you think is the time to put yourself out there and create for the world?
God, that's a hard question. It's individual. Like everyone's different. So some people are, thick-skinned and some people aren't, and some people want to be seen and they're quite happy with all that. I think any time is a good time to create. I think I think you can see creation or creativity around you everywhere, like from the way the shelves stacked in coals to the way the colours in a row of cars, along the side of the road. Everywhere you look, there's form and composition and the way trees look, or even the way that you're walking up the street. Like, there's something artistic about everything. So I think just try to stay open to all of that stuff. Listen to the music in your head, and try to get it written down. Sing it into your iPhone. And don't worry about, like, I think if you feel like you want to draw something, just draw it, and don't worry about what other people are thinking. Put it away, or throw it away, like when you finish. But just enjoy the process. That's for me. Like, the first part of my painting process is just putting stuff on the canvas. I don't know what it's going to end up being, but it's just the enjoyment of changing the colour of something, or paint your face or your feet or your toenails, or and then just go and wash it off in the shower. Just do things that people think is weird. That's strange. Why would that? I wanted, because I was compelled to do it. Yeah.
Do it like you do it like you're naked.
Do it like you're naked. Yeah. Try to enjoy shit, I suppose. Try to not worry too much about it. Stop reading all the comments that people say about you. Don't read reviews, good or bad. Don't watch yourself back.
I was going to ask that, because I never watch any of these shows back. I haven't watched one of them. I only had to do it for the editing, just to put in the cards and everything, but I never watch any. I haven't watched one full episode back. I can't.
No.
Because I can't change it. So what's the point? Like, I'm only going to nitpick.
That's it. Performances and stuff, I never watch them, because, especially if it felt bad, then I'm not going to watch it. But if it felt good, I'm definitely not going to watch it, because you just start pulling it apart. Just remember that it was good in your head. Stop taking photos of everything. Just look at it.
Yeah.
Don't see a band and don't film it.
Put away.
It looks like shit on your phone when you get back.
It always does.
It always does.
Like, imagine if we had phones when we went and saw Kiss when we were young. Fuck, how much would it suck? It would be balls.
It's awful.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll wrap up today, and what I'm going to do is just pop up on the screen here. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. If you want to check up on any of iOTA's music, there is a link to Songwhip in the description. And if you click on that, it'll take you to every one of his albums and singles, and all in one link on any streaming service. It has Spotify, Apple Music, everything that it's released on is all in that one link, which is in my description here. There's a whole lot of other links to his YouTube page and all that kind of stuff. So there's plenty of stuff to check out after the show. Thank you for joining us today and hanging out. And we've got some cool stuff coming up next week. Back to normal, showing apps during the week, and another interview at the end of next week. Thank you so very much, iOTA, for getting up early and hanging out and taking a trip down your career. And the reason I actually wanted to have you on was to inspire people that creativity doesn't have to be one avenue, and it doesn't always pan out the way that you expect it to be. And I think your story really encapsulates that beautifully.
Yeah.
And, you know, just hearing it from your mouth really has confirmed that. A lot of stuff I didn't
Right.
know. So thank you very much for sharing all that with us today. It's been awesome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on. It's been just really, really fun. I love your show. I'm having a ball. And look, and I think I said to you before, you know, last week when we chatted, like, I came on here because, you know, I just think you're just so capable, and, you know, you're in control of what you're doing, and I like you, and I like your creativity and your music. So, look, it's just been a pleasure, and yeah, we'll chat soon, I'm sure.
Thank you very much for the kind words to yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll keep you on the call here, so I won't just cut you off. I'll finish the show. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. You'll see some things pop up on the screen now. Subscribe, watch a playlist of anything if you want to go back and check out some apps. And I hope you all have a really awesome weekend. I hope you make lots of really cool stuff. And keep safe, all right? And look after each other, because it's important to look after each other. So thank you very much. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Bye, everybody.